started this idea with wanting to do some houses. Now I'm using an old book of quotations, and I love the book text in that book, and the book is very thick, so I've got years and years of fun things to do out of it. So I've got some beautiful houses. They're penny black and they're now discontinued, so if any of you want them, they actually aren't available worldwide. I know this because I actually got the last set available from a store online last year. I came to the party late. So the thing that I'm using from my stash is the book with the book pages, but also this jelly printed painted paper that I got given, and I thought, oh, I love stamping some houses over painted papers. Now the reason I'm doing the houses is I bought them primarily to use in letter journals, which I've done, and so what I've done is most of my pages for houses I've given away and I actually don't have a page of my own house stamps, which I absolutely adore. There's Victorian houses, so I decided that I would do one in my Smash It Up journal, and it would be a lot of fun to do them a little bit differently. So I'm just use the archival ink. So I'm now using some Sakura Koi watercolor markers, and just putting in some, because I have the full set of those, so I'm able to just pop in, I've got the full colour complement in their range, which means that I can just sit down and use the one set of markers to achieve the effects that I'm wanting to do. And they're brush markers, so they've got very fine tips, and they allow me to give some graded finishes. And I'm not going to really use a lot of water here because they're only book paper and I don't want to, you know, use too much water, so I'm really kind of just using the markers. And if I really want to do the water, well then I will at some point, but it would be only extremely light. So I'm really liking that first house. It reminds me of an old brownstone, really. But this other one, I just wanted to go a really different kind of thought, and just really using some purples to go in with the painted papers. The red and yellow one is not so much, but you know, you get that. And so I just wanted to do something a little bit different here, with some pink and some purple and some grey. And I just, yeah, enjoyed it. Kept it really simple. Just use a little bit of a water marker just to, you know, make them just that little bit. Now I'm going to cut them all the houses out. I actually incidentally found when I went to place them on the page that I hadn't done enough, so 4 wasn't wide enough. I really needed 6, so I went back and cut out another 2, which is one of the set in there. And I've already sent off the 2 that I had left over in Happy Mail this morning to a lovely friend of mine who loves this kind of thing, so she'll love them. So I go to put them on the page now and think, got my Mash It Up journal. And just one thing about this, somebody, I read on one of the forums that I'm a part of, that if you use a lot of inks and they get into the middle sections, the folds, they will weaken the paper and it will rip out. I just want to say that that is completely correct. I'm not using the best quality paper in this journal, but I had a lot of playtime with some inks not too long ago, and not only did it ruin 2 of my pages, but one ripped out last night and I've had to reinforce the rest of the book. So it's one of those things where I thought that I had sealed it properly, but I hadn't. And look, even the best of us make mistakes in that way. So now I'm going to have some fun doing the sky. So I'm using some craft poster paints and some Tim Holtz paints. So I'm using porcelain and dark blue sky, blue jeans, something like that. So now I've just water activated them and then got a baby wipe, and I'm just adding paint with a brush, but also smearing it with a baby wipe. And now you get to see me have a bit of a spill. Yep, because that's dried out. So what do? I spill it everywhere. And you get to see what I do for really quick clean up. So I got most of it back in the jar, so that was good. And it worked out really well, because that's kind of what I wanted to do with it anyway. So yeah, what a mess, hey? And now I'm using a sponge and some gesso. I wanted gesso because it will stay white. It won't go translucent. And so this was the original idea, to actually put some in. Now I'm going to use some of that porcelain in the distress paints, just to add a little bit of definition, and because it's not quite so white. And now I'm just collaging down the houses, and I left one blank. I wanted it to be a little bit different. And so we're going to put all the painted ones over the top. And I could have probably gone one more and really squashed the houses up, but I kind of like that some were squished and some weren't. And some of them look a little bit like row houses and some don't. Some look a little bit back from the others, and yeah. So I liked it. So now I'm just making sure, because the painted paper was like a butcher's paper, you know, like a deli, a white paper, deli paper, so it bubbled a little bit when I put the collage medium, the matte gel medium on it. But the book pages, they were great. They just stuck down and were really strong and great. And I just am just checking to see that the paper is not wet. So I'm using some neo colours just to put some shadows in between the houses, because you don't see the sky in between the houses. And I'm activating that with matte gel medium. Matte medium, sorry, not matte gel medium, just matte medium, because I didn't want to do it with water, and I wanted it to be a non-porous surface thereafter, because I'm going to add some further shadows to it, and I don't know what I'm going to add those shadows with yet. So then I thought, oh yeah, I'll look at adding some white accents, and then the neo colours didn't want to take over that coloured paper and matte medium. So now I'm just adding some lower shadow definitions to the clouds, and they came out a bit blue, so all I wanted to do was just do hints of them, so I'm blotting as I go. I like that. I think they're the most favourite clouds I've done so far, and they were so easy to do, as you can see. Gotta love sponges, right? And I'm thinking about I'm just going to put some shadows in, and I'm actually doing it with the China marker, so I'm not doing it with the Stabilo, because I want them to kind of just stay there, and I don't want to water activate them. I may smudge them a bit. I've also got a big brush pit marker, and I'll put some shadows in there on the sides of the houses just to add some in. But I've also then, and I did this off camera and completely forgot to tape it, home is where I can look and feel ugly and enjoy it. Had lots of fun, lots of fun doing that, and that just tickled my fancy, that particular saying. So enjoy until next time.